on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a little bit of an injury update for the Chicago Bulls heading into the Miami Heat game, as well as the Miami Heat injury update as well. At the end of the day, this is not exactly the content that we always want to be talking about, but it's Chicago Bulls news, ladies and gentlemen, and we can't shy away from the news. I wish I could go back to creating the creative type videos, exploring this team, how good this team can be, the potential of the team. But until these injury issues are resolved, it looks like we're going to be talking about this for a couple more days. Hopefully it won't be too long and we can get back to talking about the Chicago Bulls and their strengths in the season. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls upcoming game against the Miami Heat. I already asked the question if the game should be postponed. I think many Bulls fans are in agreement that this game should have been postponed, and a lot more games in the future should get postponed until this team is able to quarantine. But nevertheless, the NBA sees otherwise, and it looks like we'll be playing this game today against the Miami Heat. So with that being said, let's talk about the injury updates for the Chicago Bulls. It's finally some positive news about some injury updates. One player could potentially be returning against the Miami Heat, and his name is Alex Caruso. He's been listed as questionable to play against the Miami Heat. Now obviously we heard before that he was going to be reevaluated within the week, and he's more doubtful to play in majority of these games. In NBA terms, questionable is a 50-50 chance that he could play against the Miami Heat, which means we might see Alex Caruso back in one of the bigger games of our season, where we need a little bit more players to come in and push the tempo and just try to get us into a very hard-fought win. At the end of the day, both Miami and the Chicago Bulls right now are in situations where, for one reason or another, their best players are out. So we have to take advantage of that, and having Alex Caruso potentially come back is going to be game-changing for that game if he was to come back at 100% against the Miami Heat. Now that is the question. That's hopefully the expectation, that he will be back at 100%. Because once again, if he is coming back and he's still not 100% ready to go, he's 90%, 80%, whatever the case may be, then I don't want to see Alex Caruso return at the moment. At the end of the day, we have a lot of injuries. We have a lot of things not going our way. The last thing I want to see is an Alex Caruso long-term injury. So unless he's completely healthy and ready to go, he's well rested, his hamstring is completely a non-factor in this game against the Miami Heat, then I'd love to have Alex Caruso back. I think he's very well needed, and he could potentially be the reason we could win that game against the Miami Heat. I always lean on the side of caution in terms of these situations. I'd rather have short-term failure in terms of not seeing him on the team, and hopefully we can get wins without him, than seeing him play in this game and miss a few weeks now if the hamstring just wasn't fully recovered from. These are the situations that the Chicago Bulls have to make, the decisions they have to make, and hopefully they make the right decision, and we're not talking about this after the game as a big wrong decision that they've made. We'll wait and see about that, but questionable means 50-50. There's a chance that he plays, there's a chance he doesn't play. We'll wait and see. Maybe that means he'll definitely be back against Detroit. Who really knows about that situation? Going into the Miami Heat side of things, because ladies and gentlemen, that is our next opponent in terms of the Chicago Bulls, and I just want to stress to the factor that both teams are very, very unhealthy at the moment. Both teams have most of their star players out because of health and safety protocols. For us, I think majority of their ones is injuries. So it's going to be a tough game for both teams to try and pull out a win. For what was seen as the most exciting game, one of the most exciting matchups of the entire season, with the Chicago Bulls, the brand new Chicago Bulls team, and the Miami Heat, a revolutionized Miami Heat team with Kyle Lowry adding in some really good players, stepping up some other players as well. This is the matchup that many Bulls fans and many Heat fans probably liked in terms of watching the NBA, watching the season. These two teams matching up with each other, because they're often compared to each other. Everybody was very excited about that. But now it looks like, again, the news is for Miami. Bam Adebayo is obviously going to be out. He had surgery. He's going to be out for quite some time for the Miami Heat. I believe Jimmy Butler hurt his tailbone a few games ago, and I believe he's also going to miss this game against the Chicago Bulls. And not to mention Markieff Morris and just a whole bunch of other players. Again, if I have left anybody out, I will put a picture about it. But yeah, a lot of players are out for the Miami Heat as well. So it just goes to show that it's not just the Chicago Bulls that are going to be experiencing lack of rotation and, I guess, lack of star power for their teams, respectively. So Miami's just in a bad situation as us, but obviously ours is an outbreak. It's not necessarily injuries. A lot of these players are quote unquote healthy in terms of their body. Like Kobe White's not injured, Javonte's not injured, obviously DeMar DeRozan's not injured. Players like that, they're not injured, but again, ours is an outbreak, which means it could potentially spread. Theirs are injuries, and those injuries will hurt them for the short term as well. But they expect it to come back sooner than later, at least with Jimmy Butler. So it's a pretty interesting game, and it's a game I think many people, and the excitement factor of this game has gone all the way down. But again, whoever wins this game between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls is going to be big for their season. Because at the end of the day, both teams are short on rotations, both teams short on star quality. Whoever can win a game like this against, when they're both on their best in terms of form and players, both are really great teams. And we saw that in the first time against the Miami Heat. They're both really strong teams. If we can win in this situation where both teams are not at their best, that's going to be huge for our season, because we picked up a victory when we're extremely short-staffed. And the Miami Heat will feel the same way. They're extremely short-staffed, but if they win this game, it's going to be important for their season, as they picked up a win they probably didn't expect to. So it's a big game for this one, ladies and gentlemen. The excitement factor might not be there, but it's still a very important game for both teams to go out, compete very hard, and try to win. And we're going to have to wait and see who's going to step up for the Miami Heat, who's going to step up for the Chicago Bulls. It's going to be an interesting game. It's one I'm looking forward to, and hopefully we can pick up the win. But the injuries, ladies and gentlemen, are creeping up, not only just for the Chicago Bulls, but for the NBA in general. And it's getting a bit concerning now, but we'll have to wait and see how the Bulls can do in this game. And hopefully after this whole nonsense about health and safety protocols could just die out, and just let the players that are currently in health and safety protocols recover, bounce back. Maybe against the Raptors, a lot of them return. The Lakers, Detroit, Kobe White should return for Detroit. So all I can hope for now is that, at least for the Bulls' perspective, there's no more players in this situation that have to go under health and safety protocols, because it just is beginning to get too much, and I just don't want to see that happen anymore. But that's the injury update for the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat game. That's the game that we have to look forward to, where a lot of players are out for Miami and a lot of players are out for the Chicago Bulls. But it's time to step up now. Whoever wants it more will have the opportunity to compete for it, and let's see which team walks away with a strong victory. I hope it's the Chicago Bulls. I'd love to get one back over Miami. Obviously, I'd like to verse them at their best, and I'd like us to be at that best, but unfortunately, we don't get everything that we want. Both teams are injured. Both teams are not healthy. Let's just go and pick up a win and continue our season in a positive manner. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about this situation in total. Again, are you excited about the possibility of seeing Alex Caruso? And obviously, with all the players being out, do you see us having a chance to win against the Miami Heat, granted with their players also out as well? Tough game. Let's see if we can walk away with the win. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. Hopefully this is the last in terms of big injury news that I have to talk about. Hopefully we can continue to talk about creative things. I love asking questions. I love talking about the future. I like talking about potential prospects for the Chicago Bulls to bring in. I love all of those things. Injuries is not something I like to talk about. I never have and I never will. But it just seems to be so much going on about it, it's almost impossible to neglect. So that's why I'm talking about it so often, if many people are wondering. And I hope I can get back to the normal content, the content where our team is healthy and we're talking about how good our team is. Let's see if that can happen in the future as well. Take care and peace.